Girl, is it easy to love me now? Would you love me if I was down and out? But you still have love for me, girl. Okay. Hi, you guys, and thank you for watching my channel.
You don't believe in bloopers?
Yeah, I like it when they leave the bloopers in.
We gonna hear all this shit, man.
Yeah, he think that y'all don't want to hear my singing. Haters gonna hate. Okay, so this is gonna be the story time of. I'm not even gonna title it because y'all gonna see the title down below. But this story is kind of embarrassing. Please go easy on me in the comment section because I was mentally retarded. Had to have been as I look at this. He talking hella shit, but okay, so this story time took place. I don't know when because I don't know. But I had just started working for State Farm. No, I didn't. I worked as a loan processor. I worked as a loan processor in a collection agency. Yeah, collection agent. Yeah, at this point in time. And I started talking to this dude. He was like one of those spiritual guys, the skater type. And I felt like it was like a pathway of like spiritual guidance, which is really why we clicked. And that's kind of where I started listening to the spiritual music, why I love the moon and shit. But he worked as a merchandiser. So he traveled and he would be gone for like 2 weeks, come back for 1 week, be gone for 2 weeks. So I literally saw him like 1 week out the month. And then they switched the schedule, so it was like 1 week on, 1 week off. So that's when I seen him a little bit more. And we're gonna name this guy Holier Than Thou is a better name than what I got written on this paper. Because he really thought that he was God's gift to earth. And being honest, it was kind of like where it went from enlightening. You know how some spiritual people are either enlightening or they're like freeform or they're like very judgmental of everybody's path. He was like kind of the judgmental type. At first, it was like real relaxed, but people change. So at this point, we were dating officially for a few months, and I got to meet his mother after like a couple of months. His mom was literally one of the few moms I've ever gotten along with. We didn't really have a close relationship. It wasn't like we really liked each other like a lot. Like she liked me a lot, but I felt like it was bullshit. Because sometimes you can tell where a woman will switch up depending on, she'll like anybody her son bring home. Basically. That's how I felt about her. And we're going to call his mama Dukes. So me and Dukes were pretty cool, pretty cordial. She wanted to hang out a lot more, but I was hesitant because I feel like I'm not really gonna get to know someone's family until the relationship is what I believe is strong. Like if I feel like it's strong, then I'm all in for meeting your family and I'm ready. But for him, I was a little hesitant. Okay. So then before I even met his mom, I met his two cousins, D and J. D is actually his cousin. J is his cousin's boyfriend. So D was like hysterical. Not flamboyant, very masculine, but he was like hysterical. Like his emotions changed real quick. And like if a situation happened, D is taking it to 9900. So I used to be like pretty scared to go anywhere with D and J because I felt like D was gonna get us all arrested. Like he's the type where we get pulled over by the cops and he might pee on the cops. Like he did shit like that. Jay was super serene, laid back, cool, extremely masculine. Like they were not the flamboyant type. You wouldn't even know they were gay, like just looking at them. But Jay was like super cool, super laid back. That's why I did not know how their relationship worked. Cause D used to say some crazy ass shit when he get mad. Had me like, oh my god, no, why? Like, so they stayed in one room, and mind you, all of them stayed with Dukes. So they stayed in one room. Holier Than Thou had the other room. And of course, Dukes had the master bedroom. Me personally, I was a lot more comfortable with going over there upon finding out that his cousins were gay. Because if they were like all straight, I would not have been as comfortable going over there. I would have preferred that we go to my house. And that's just because of me being comfortable. Because I was really new to the area, I didn't really know where I was going, so I was like pretty lost. So after a while, Dukes started acting weird towards me, like weird. And D and J started hinting that I was better than the relationship and I need to leave him. And I was just like oblivious as fuck. But I never told him what D and J said, but I did tell him about Dukes. So one day I had came over, and before even coming over, he had called me and he was like, "Hey, when you come over, could you bring like some Jamaican food? Cause me and my little brother Sean are hungry." So I'm like, "Okay, I can bring some." He was like, "Yeah, I just cash app you in a couple of weeks when I get paid, cause it was his off week." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. You don't even have to pay me back, cause first of all, why would I leave Sean in the house hungry?" So I come over. I have the 3 plates of Jamaican food for all of us. And when I come in the house, I did not know Dukes was gonna be there because normally she's like always at work. He takes breaks, but she does not take no breaks. So Dukes is there, and she was like, "Oh, thanks. I could have bought my own son's food." And I'm like, "But you don't." Like, not trying to be funny. Like when I come over, she normally puts like the bare minimum of food in her fridge. So normally there's never really any food except for like quick shit, like oatmeal, maybe, grits, maybe, and milk and water. So I was like, okay, I don't know why she's throwing shots. Then she started acting distant. She was looking me up and down. She was acting real funny. So I just took my little bag, and I don't know why. I was coming over for 2 days, and I had a 50-pound carry on bag. Like, I had a big ass suitcase for 2 days. Oh, because I had to work. So, like, if I come over and I gotta work, I have like a regular everyday outfit. Then I have my work outfit, which will have my work shoes, and then my regular everyday shoes. Because I did not want to be wearing what I wore to work all day because it was like business casual. So, anyway, she started acting funny, making little funny comments. But eventually, that night, she goes to work. And he was like, "Yeah, me and Sean are going to be sharing a room from here on out because he's going to be moving in indefinitely." And I was like, "Okay." And he was then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, they're moving like Sean's stuff in the room. And this dude had the audacity to want sex. I am not about to have sex in you and your brother's room. First of all, that is weird. Weird as fuck. I don't even feel comfortable with us sleeping in the same bed and your brother's there. I just think it's weird, just in case anything does happen. I think it's weird. And it didn't make sense to me because at this point in time I had my own place. My sister, no, my brother stayed with me, but we had a 4-bedroom house. So I'm like, why didn't we just go to my house? Why would we come over here to have sex if you know that your brother is moving in? So I was completely uncomfortable. My answer was a hell to the fuck no. It was a no. So, oh yeah, and then the relationship had gotten so weird. He was like, he was weird. Like, he used to always call me while he was at work. All of a sudden, he would catch an attitude with me if I called while he was at work. Or even if he called me while he was at work, like 3 minutes into the phone call, he would be pissed that we are on the phone. He'd be like, "Yeah, the job is just stressing me out." And I'll just like hear like a girl giggling in the background. And in my head, I was like, I'm just going to ignore that because it's probably one of his coworkers or whatever. But I was mistaken. I actually might give that a separate story time because that'd be a good story time. But yeah, so me and Holier Than Thou ended up getting into an argument because I didn't want to have sex. Especially because at first he wasn't like, at first he was like, "Yeah, my brother's gonna be in here because he's laying down going to sleep. He got school." I'm like, first of all, it's the fucking weekend. He don't have no school tomorrow. Second of all, I don't want to put him out the room. And third of all, you want him in the room. That's even weirder. Like, hell no. Like, no. Then he was like, "Okay, well, let me go ahead and move his stuff outside the room." I'm like, it's still a no. Like, at this point, I'm like, hell no. So we ended up not having sex after like 2 hours of arguing. We watched the movies, we went to sleep, cuddled or whatever. And the next morning, I wake up and he's up super early, which he's one of those where he gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go outside and meditate in the backyard. So he's outside meditating, and he comes back inside and he starts packing up all my shit. Y'all, he packed up all my shit and he put me out because I didn't want to have sex. And at that point, I knew the relationship was over. I knew that obviously, whatever girl he has on the side, I was like a placeholder for her for while she's gone or whatever, because it was just like so weird. Now, I guess I'll go into a little bit of the after effect. So, a week or so later, he calls me. He apologizes for how he put me out, and he was like kind of apologetic, but kind of like not really. I didn't really think it was a real apology. I felt like roses at my house would have been more apologetic because you did throw me out early in the morning, right before I got to go to work. So I had to like chug my suitcase, pack all of my stuff up, and still make it to work on time. So it was just like weird. But he apologized, and he was like, yeah, we probably just need to talk and figure stuff out or whatever. So we started talking to try and like build our relationship back up, because at that point he had let me know that there was issues. I already knew whatever the issues was, he was probably cheating, because it would totally make sense because he was acting weird as fuck. So we're all cooling, and all of a sudden, my brother's girlfriend comes over the house to hang out. And she was like, hey, I was on this dating app, which should have been like a red flag. Like, bitch, how are you dating my brother, but you on a dating app? Like, it was just weird. But I didn't even think nothing of it because I don't know what the fuck they be doing in their relationship. She was like, yeah, I was on this dating app, and I wanted to let you know that I saw your boyfriend on there. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, it says that he was active like 2 hours ago. I was like, can you screenshot that and send it to my phone? She was like, yeah, I got you, girl. So she screenshots it, she sends it to my phone. I didn't say nothing until I seen him. I waited for him to come over, and when he came over, like, he was acting real standoffish and real stale. Like, him and my brother used to be cool, but I don't know what the fuck happened. Like, him and my brother had started working together, and after them working together for 4 weeks, like, my brother never talked about him again. Um, Made little slick comments. Like, one day my brother was like, "Oh yeah, like." Okay, so I'm gonna pause here and go back in time. So one day they were all at work, and I had called, and I was talking to my boyfriend at the time, holier than thou. And my brother was in the background. He was like, "Hey sis, what's up?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing much." He was like, "Yeah, you and your boy be on the phone all the time." Me and my boy hadn't been on the phone or spoke to each other in 7 days since their project started, since they left town. So when my brother said that, I knew that he was hinting casually, "Hey, he's cheating on you." But so at that point in my head, like, we weren't together, we were working things out or whatever it was gonna be. But in that point in my head, like, we weren't together, but we weren't officially broken up. So dude started laughing awkwardly, and then he was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go because I got a lot of work to do. And my brother was in the background like, it's the last day, we don't got a lot of work to do, like, just hinting, like, so what's up, sis. And I was just like, so dumb. I'm thinking that maybe he has different work than my brother, like, whatever the case may be, because his mom is the team lead, so she has extra stuff she do, and sometimes she would drag him along with her. So I was like, okay, whatever. So back to the present. So he comes over, he's acting weird, very like standoffish, and him and my brother were super duper close. Him and my brother's girlfriend were even really, really close, and they don't talk anymore at all. My brother's girlfriend was like, fuck him, fuck his raggedy ass mama, fuck his two gay cousins. Like, she was just going off. And when she don't like somebody, she has a hard time keeping it cordial, especially if she feel like you wronged her, you wronged someone she loved. But my brother is calm until it's like to disrespectful. So he was like, what's the point in getting involved in case you go back, because he's experienced that before from another sister. So yeah. So he comes over. He's like, yeah, I see your whole family's here. Da 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 da. I wanted to apologize in person about my actions. We can go ahead and start talking and trying to figure it out. So at that point, we started doing more outings, spending more time together. But it would be like weird moments where sometimes I couldn't come over his house for like 4 and 5 days straight. And during this time period where I couldn't come over his house, he wouldn't even make the effort to come over my house. And y'all, the dating app alone should have been enough for me to know to move on, but I don't know why it wasn't. I ended up going over there one day so we could break up face to face in person, and that's what we did. And like 2 days later, my brother was like, "I'm glad you finally broke up with him because he was cheating on you with the girl at our job, the one that was always in the background of all y'all conversations. Yeah, he was messing with her." So once we broke up, he wanted to remain cool or friends or whatever. He moved the girl he was cheating on me with into his house because her parents had kicked her out for whatever reason. And I was like, no, I'm good. We don't need to continue talking, unless it's for the sake of the dog. But being honest, I had like so much aggression towards him that we couldn't even keep cordial for the sake of the dog. So we ended up going our ways like completely. And his mom ended up being the first mom I've ever hated, because I can honestly say I've had moms dislike me, but they were blunt. They were like, "Hey, I don't like you," but they were still cordial. Or we sat down, we talked it out, we tried to figure out ways around it. I did not like his mom because I don't like smiling up in my face. I don't like accepting my food and you really don't like me. I don't like calling me for rides and you really don't fucking like me. I just didn't like none of that shit. I didn't like asking me for financial or credit advice and you don't fuck with me. Like, if you don't fuck with me, just don't talk to me. That's how I felt. His cousins, I still adore them to this day because they were real as fuck. Um, yeah. Oh yeah, and let me insert the text message because his stupid ass actually had the audacity to text me recently. I'm gonna insert that, and I guess that's the wrap of this video.